I am new to. I'm Tammy Swanson, and I'm so excited to be with you here today. One of the things that I love to do in my business is make sure people are using what they've got. Okay, so I know Brenda's been to different workshops that I've done, and other people too. So that's part of, I feel like, what you get with a small business like mine is the follow up. So Amazon, Bed Bath and Beyond, they're probably not going to call you to make sure you're using the nice investment that you bought from them. So that's just one of my ways that I can give back. So just by show of hands, how many of you already have an air fryer? Doesn't matter what kind. How many of you have an air fryer? Okay. And I think by the looks of it, most of you have the Pampered Chef one, but from the folks that are on here, that I can tell so far. All right. So I know Brenda's had hers for a little bit. Brandon and Debbie are just, and Karen are just getting theirs, and Tammy's had hers for a while. So why don't you guys come on and go ahead and share some of the things that that you love? Because I think, like, for Brenda, for example, like she may say something that we all can incorporate into our cooking. So who has some things that they want to share?
I really like it to do vegetables, to air fry vegetables, just the frozen pack, and just put them in there in a little tray. I've done that. I've done a lot of frozen meats.
So expand on what kind of frozen vegetables are you doing? Are you doing like broccoli or like a mixed pack?
The big mixed pack that you get at Costco.
Okay.
You just mix a little bit of oil with that and some spices that I've gotten from the monthly. The subscription that you get through Pampered Chef. I've used some of those, and that's worked really well.
I've never even thought about putting frozen vegetables in my air fryer. So there you go. Awesome. Okay.
I'm still trying to get that they get to the right crispness and not getting too brown. So I'm still working with a little bit, but it works well.
You're doing it on the air fry, not the bake or the roast?
I've done both.
Okay.
I've not done the roast. I never thought about that.
Yeah, so that actually may be the trick, because I think the air fry, you're going to get that more crispy, so that may be one thing. And then another thing you may want to consider doing is maybe instead of it being on the higher rack, put it kind of lower and still stir it maybe halfway through rather than rotate the rack. But that might help with it not being quite so brown, which I like when I do Brussels sprouts, I want them charred. So I'm more of the other, where I like my veggies.
I like them a little brown. I do like that.
Okay, good.
But sometimes I get it a little bit too done.
Anything else other than veggies and frozen meats that you're doing, Brenda?
Other than heating pizza pieces, pizza up and things, it's excellent for warming things up.
Yeah, good. All right, who else is using theirs?
Oh, I put baked potatoes in there, sweet potatoes and baked potatoes.
Okay, about how long is it taking to do that?
It was 20 minutes to half an hour for a baked potato. But it wasn't a real big baked potato, but it didn't take long.
I like the crispiness. We do them in the microwave sometimes, but I like the crispy exterior, that you can really get in the microwave. Awesome. Cool. All right, who else?
As I told you, Jamie, I've taken mine out of the box, but I haven't done anything with it yet.
Listen, that's half of it, but you just got it last week, okay? So
that's right.
1 week now, so that's good. So I hope after today you will be totally inspired and cooking all the things this week.
I was waiting to see a pro in action so I would know what to do.
Listen, I am Hot Mess Express. I'm not one of those. And even with my cooking shows, I've never made anything ahead of time. I was like, it'll turn out just fine. It'll be fine. So I just love to experiment, and I'm not afraid to experiment. That's for sure.
That's good.
All right. Good. Who else?
Sorry, Jamie, I was having to answer my students. They're all in a panic about Monday. I absolutely love my air fryer, as you know. I make the fried vegetables, zucchini and squash in the summer is my absolute favorite. I throw them in there and it's just like I took them off the grill without going outside in the heat. I've made,
Are you just throwing this right on the wire rack, or are you putting it in a dish of some sort?
oh, I just put it right on the wire rack. I
Okay,
was gonna say,
perfect.
if I'm wrong, don't tell me now. I'll just say I heard a friend did it. Yeah.
I
Um,
love it. I loved your question about the aluminum foil the other day. You were asking for a friend, I think. So,
just saying. And let's see what else. The air fried Oreos. Those are the amazing and so simple. I mean, y'all crescent roll, Oreo roll, throw it in. You're done. You're
Chicken
done.
desserts, I'm going to tell you guys that. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to like make note of like things that I mentioned, because I'm only going to cook a couple of things, because I just don't, we don't have all day to do all sorts of things. We'll make sure that I share, and I don't try to type it up, everything that we talk about, and put it in just a little document or in the feed, so you guys will have it so you can reference back to. So good. And I know, Tammy, you said you like it, with you being just you at home, it's easy to make things for, your portion sizes and stuff.
Exactly. And I'm the world's worst to forget to take anything out of the freezer. I think I should be the poster child, because I get home and I'm tired and I'm hungry, and we all know cereal starts looking really good at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Been
But
there.
it is what it is. So, I can, the other day I got home and I had thankfully not frozen my chicken. I had just thrown it in the refrigerator with full intentions of cooking it. And I just threw both breasts in the air fryer and seasoned them. They were great. I used leftovers and made these little mini chicken pot pies, which I'll have to tell you about that later. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So if you're like me and you always have leftovers in the fridge, air fryer is your friend. And don't worry about if you are lucky enough to have the extra fries left over from Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, all those good places. Bring them home. You can now reheat them and they're just crisp.
How about that?
Mhm. Awesome. All right, anybody else that has some good tips and things that they've been doing so far? All right, well, good. Well, and if you think of something as we're going on, definitely jump in and let me know. But what I'm going to do now, this workshop is really not Pampered Chef air fryer specific, because I think that you'll like, if someone's got a different kind, you're going to get some inspiration. Now I can only speak for the one that we have, because it's the only one I've ever had. So I'm going to mainly tell you about that. But every one of the recipes, unless you're starting to have the rotisserie or something, I'll be able to give you some good inspiration. So I'm just going to give you the breakdown of this one. So the capacity is just wonderful. So for my family of 5, we always cook for leftovers. So whatever I'm cooking, like when I cook tonight, I should have some leftovers for at least the lunch tomorrow, if not a full dinner. So that's kind of my policy. And most everything that I cook in here, like we will have the leftovers. Now, when we do wings, I can do about 24 wings at a time. And if I want leftovers of those, I may have to put a second batch in, like as we sit down for leftovers, but that feeds our family just fine. So the different settings that it has are air fry. You can bake. It's got the roast, and then over here on the other side, it's got the rotisserie, reheat, and dehydrate. So with the air fry, I think my misconception when air fryers first came out was it was really only for like mozzarella sticks and the frozen foods and convenience things that that the world was telling us we probably shouldn't eat anyway. But it was better to start it in the fry batty or in a skillet full of grease. So I love that. But most of the time when I'm cooking here, even if it calls for you to spritz it or toss it in a little bit of oil, a lot of times I don't even do that, because I don't feel like you need a ton of that. But I use probably the air fry and the bake feature more than any of the other ones that I do. So it just depends on what the recipe calls for. Now we are fortunate enough that Pampered Chef sent us all one of these little cookbooks that has some great recipes of different things that you can do, and then it tells you exactly what each one of the settings. So like your appetizers, frozen foods, chicken tenders, things like that you'd want to do on the air fry. Bake, that would be more for like desserts and breads, casseroles, anything that you would actually throw in the oven. roast, that would be like your vegetables, meats, fruits, fish. So you can do that. Your rotisserie, love that you can do this. So check this out. You can do whole chicken. You can do 2 Cornish hens at one time. I put a pork roast on the spit to roast it. Cauliflower. Now, sometimes the cauliflower is a little bit big. So if it doesn't fit on there for it to rotate, all you do is put it on the rack and still hit the rotisserie, and it's still gonna circulate that air just like it's on the rotisserie. So I think that's kind of nice. Check this out. How many of you love like the Brazilian steakhouse? Like we were just down at Myrtle Beach and I saw the Riaz or whatever the name of the place is down there. So I think they put like coconut milk or something on their pineapple and then maybe some brown sugar or something. You can put it on the rotisserie and rotisserie your pineapple, which is pretty cool. So the reheat feature, that's ideal for leftovers. So if you've got, leftover pizza or fries, like Tammy mentioned, different things like that. Hush puppies. So Fisher, my 3-year-old, he calls hush puppies brown bears. So like every time I think about hush puppies, I automatically go to brown bears. So you can reheat your brown bears. They're good in there too. Dehydrate. So that actually you can make jerky. Now it tells you in the cookbook here on how to do the jerky. So it tells you to get like a 14-ounce sirloin or round or even a flank steak. Occasionally at the grocery store, you can find like the real thin cut meats. And if not, ask your butcher. Because it's not hard to cut it, but you need to freeze your meat first so you can get a good cut. But the butcher at most grocery stores will be able to cut that into thin. Well, I think it's like a 1/8 of an inch. And I'm not really good at measuring things, so that would be a good suggestion if you like jerky and things like that. And then, of course, with the dehydrate, we've done apples, we've done pineapple, and it seems like we've done one other thing. And then you can also do your leftover herbs. So if you've got like a ton of basil in your garden or a bunch of parsley, you could definitely dehydrate that and then keep it long after that that would have gone bad in your garden. So I love it, but it's even got things like you can dehydrate an onion. How cool is that? So you can make your own like just great flavors for a little bit later. Let's see what else. Carrots, you could do carrots and kale. So I'm actually the first thing I'm going to show you guys after I show you a little bit more of the breakdown of this is we're going to do some kale in here. So Preston and I love kale. When Jonathan walks in, he's like, I don't know what you're cooking, but it's either Brussels sprouts or kale and it smells terrible, but we love it. We absolutely love it. So I'm going to go grab the other accessories. I forgot to grab that. I love how the door comes off for easy cleaning. So when I do wings or something that's real, like, kind of greasy or crispy, I can get in here with a little scrub brush and get that all cleaned up. So that is easy. Now, occasionally, if something happens and you take the door off and you go to turn it back on and it doesn't, like the lights don't come on, maybe take your door off and put it back on, because sometimes the connection, may not have been perfect. So that's definitely a troubleshooting thing that you're going to want to do. The one thing I wish that they had done, I wish there was an on and off switch. So the only way to turn it on and off is here with the plug, okay? And that's a really important thing to keep in mind. So mine stays over in like our butler's pantry area that has the blender, my coffee pot, and then the air fryer. And what's funny is I used to never have any appliances out. The coffee pot was the only thing. And now this and the blender, they just kind of share space. I use them all the time. It's like they're not going back and forth. But this is so powerful that you can't have anything plugged into the same outlet at the same time. Okay, so if I have my coffee pot and the air fryer, is probably going to blow the switch. So just go ahead and do yourself a favor when because you've got to plug this in before you go ahead and unplug whatever else, so you're not running to take care of that. So I really do love that. So with it comes, you got this little drip pan, which is great. So it just goes right in the bottom to catch any of the grease or even the crispiness and stuff that might fall from whatever you're cooking. So in that, it just makes cleanup a whole lot easier. So I can take that out, wipe it down. Now this part is not dishwasher safe. Probably not the end of the world if you throw it in there, but just the use and care suggests that you don't put that in the dishwasher. It does come with the 2 racks, and I love that. So you can do like a one on the top, one on the bottom, or one in the middle. And then let's just say something calls for 10 minutes to cook. At the 5-minute mark, you're going to hear a little beep. And typically what I would do is just rotate those racks, just switch positions for that. So that will allow whatever's on the top not to get too brown, and whatever's on the bottom to get that equal amount of brown. So I really do think that's pretty incredible that it does that. I'm not sure right now that the replacement racks are available. I know last week when I tried to add some, they were not available, but especially if you think you're going to use it multiple times a day. Like I have a couple sets of these. So if I do like wings for dinner, for dessert, I can just go ahead and like get my Oreos or whatever else, chocolate chip cookies that I can put in there, get those going. So pretty cool. All right, let me get this over here. First thing that I'm going to do, and then we're going to do some more talking about some other things, but I figured you'd probably like to see some things and get some ideas. If you like kale chips, anybody like kale chips? If you haven't tried them, you may want to. They're actually pretty good. It's just a nice flavor. And like I said, Preston and I love it. So you can buy the whole the fresh kale, or at the grocery store you can buy the prepackaged kale. And this is nice because I can add it to smoothies. Like I'll steam it sometimes just in the microwave. There's a sausage and kale stew that I love. I made a couple of weeks ago. I think I'm going to make it again since I got new kale. And then of course you can do the kale dip. What's really cool about this is this snack takes 4 minutes, and that's it in the air fryer. So I've just got the kale in there. After you wash it, you want to make sure that you pat it dry really good. And that goes really for anything, including your wings and chicken tenders and things like that in there, because if you don't, you're just not gonna get that crispiness that you're looking for. All right, so I'm gonna pump using my kitchen spritzer, and then I'm just gonna coat it real good, and then use my tongs to kind of bend that around, and then I'm just gonna add some salt. Now you can add whatever seasoning that you like, but we've just found that salt and just a bit of oil is really all it takes. So I did enough just for 1 rack. And if you find the pieces that have like the real thick stalk, that's not quite as good. So I usually try to kind of cull that out. Or if it doesn't make it out when you go to eat it, just don't eat that, because that's not very, very tasty in my opinion. All right, so I'm gonna put it on the bottom. I'm gonna do air fry in 4 minutes. Now you know that you have found a good little recipe when your 7 or 8-year-old just independently gets everything out of the refrigerator, everything out of the cabinets, everything out of the spice area, and just makes 3 or 4 batches a day, and just eats them, just like it's potato chips. So like that I love that my kid is doing that. Now I can't say it for the other people that live here, but at least one out of the other 3 will do the trick there. So, all right. So, what are some other snacks that you guys have seen? Any kind of little snacks? It doesn't have to obviously be a Pampered Chef recipe, because I'm the queen of Google. So I'll tell you some of the things I've Googled too. Any little snacks?
No,
Yeah. Brenda, did you have one?
no, I don't. I've not done snacks in it.
Okay, good. So of course, any of your frozen breaded mushrooms or cheese sticks, you can do things like that. I love in the appetizer area, I love to do stuffed mushrooms. So what I'll do with that is I'll take some sausage, like breakfast sausage, and I'll brown it up in a pan. And I usually use about a half of about a half a pound probably of the sausage. I'll drain it after I've browned it, mix some cream cheese, and usually what I'll do is I'll take the insides of the stem of the mushroom and chop it with the food chopper, because that just makes it go a little bit farther, and I like it, so I just add that as the filling too. I like a little bit of crispiness. So what I'll do, since I'm trying to do more of a lower carb, is I'll take just a handful of pork rinds and chop it either in the chopper or the manual food processor. And that, gives me that lower carb option to give a little bit of crisp to that. And then I'll just put it in those mushroom caps and then pop it right in there. And, really it's not a lot of time. It's probably 5 or 6 minutes for it just to get crispy and ready to serve. Another minute or two, but I usually can tell by the how brown it is on how I like it. All right, so some breakfast things. Has anybody done any cool and creative breakfast ideas in their air fryer? All right, so I'll tell you some of the things that we do, and that's probably the time of day that it saves me some time, because my house is real chaotic in the morning, and most of my kids just prefer cereal, but I love to be able to give them something a little heartier. So I do a lot of sausage. So sausage and bacon are ideal in there. So if I take just like a 2-foot sausage, I'll slice it, or even you can buy the pre-pattied ones, or even the ones in the freezer section. We tend to just get the fresh sausage and do it. So what I do is the first 10 minutes, I put it on bake, okay? And usually I can just get it on the one rack for the whole pound of sausage for that. So I just get it on there, have it spread out. And of course, that's going to be one of those greasier things. So I put it on bake for 10 minutes. Once it hits that 5-minute mark, that it gives you the buzz to rotate the rack. What I do is, instead of rotate the rack, I actually flip the sausage over. Okay, so I found it's just a little bit better. And then the last 4 minutes of cooking, so do the full 10 minutes, I switch it from bake to air fry, because that gives it the crispiness that I'm looking for. So it gives that nice brown color. Love to do that. Same thing with the little link sausages. My kids love that. So love that. Sometimes we'll get the maple flavored. And I think that takes probably about 10 or 12 minutes. I'll have to make sure that I check it the next time. But a lot of times, especially even with the patty sausage, I'll make it in advance, or I'll make a bunch at one time, and then we'll just have it to reheat in the mornings. And that makes mornings so much easier, especially when you can put it in the air fryer and it's super quick and super fast, and it just tastes like it was made right then. So that's another thing. Same thing with bacon. Now, you can put the bacon right on the rack here, or if you've got one of our like toaster oven pan, like small bar pan sized, those fit on there. So I'm gonna give you a little spoiler, little sneak peek. If you look at our website lately, you've probably seen that our stoneware is not available, but in March, we should be back up to speed, because you folks were loving some pampered stuff when y'all were quarantined at home and you couldn't go out to eat. You were using our products, and we thank you, but our manufacturers just couldn't keep up with it. So the small toaster oven pan fits perfectly on there, especially if you wanted to do something with a little less mess. Okay, so that's an ideal size. Now I do have a little document of the Pampered Chef products that do fit in the air fryer that are approved. Now you can try some other things you've got at home. So is the secret with something to put in there, like a glass dish or anything, just make sure it doesn't touch the sides. Okay, if it touches the sides, that's just, I don't know if it's dangerous or the way it should, but yeah, look at that. See how nice and crispy. So I'm not going to eat it because I will end up with kale all over it, but check out how nice and crispy and crunchy that is in 4 minutes. But pretty cool deal there. Other things that I do is I use these little cast iron pans. These are the 5.5-inch size. We do all sorts of things. So I love to do little omelets. That usually, takes 12 to 15 minutes for 2 eggs. And then what's nice is these come in a set of 2. So if like I wanted bacon in mine, and my husband wanted sausage or ham in his, we could have individual little omelets. And sometimes we'll just make 2 different ones, and then we'll put it on the table and everybody eats out of that. Now obviously it'd probably be a little bit quicker to make it on the stovetop, but sometimes you just need to pop it in and kind of walk away, and you can't really do that on the stovetop. The other thing that we do in here a lot either for breakfast or even kind of as a dessert, is monkey bread. So just like an individual serving of monkey bread is perfect for breakfast. So I'm going to tell you another way to do that I did in one of my Zoom parties earlier, or I think on Friday. Another thing that you can do, and I haven't done this yet, but I can't wait. So I got an avocado to try it tomorrow. But you can cut an avocado in half, take the pit out, and then put it in a dish, like the cast iron, crack an egg on top, and then put it in there, put it in the air fryer. I'll have to double check because I shared that recipe with somebody. But again, I haven't made it, but all the recipes that I saw for it looked fantastic. I think you could even put some bacon on the side, and it would cook your bacon while it's cooking your egg, and then you've got the avocado right there. So that is a really just a clever way that you can do that. Speaking of accessories, there's a couple of our quick cooker, which is our pressure cooker, accessories that fit right in the air fryer. So this is the little mini fluted pan. So you can do cakes, you could do meatloaf. This is what I did monkey bread in on Friday. That was really good. I did 2 containers of the Grand's biscuits. So it was pretty hearty. What I did with half of it, I just did the butter, cinnamon, sugar, and then the Grand's. I just cut them, cut it in half, and then cut it in thirds. So I had six chunks per biscuit, and then I tossed it in melted butter and then cinnamon and sugar. So I did half of it, and then I chopped up some pecans and had the pecans in the other half of it. So, Preston or whoever didn't want pecans could have that. And then, Jonathan, who likes the pecans, could do that. Now, what I did on another Zoom, I think it was Wednesday maybe, in this was I took a cake mix, just a yellow cake mix, mixed it right by the box instructions. And then I used the spritzer to spritz this around. And I poured only half of the cake mix in there because, the whole cake mix would have been too much. 12 minutes in the air fryer, and I had a super cute plate. It was so cute. We still have a bunch of it, but look at how cute that little mini bun. It was just a little mini bundt cake that we had. And so that turned out really tasty. But love that that there's just some versatility. This can go in the oven. You can use it in your quick cooker, and now obviously you can use it in the air fryer. All right, so we do a lot of dinner time recipes in the air fryer as well. So different things like roast. I got just a pork tenderloin, a seasoned pork tenderloin that I'll probably do another day this week. What I've got here are just chicken tenders. So I'm gonna season these chicken tenders like I do the wings. Now, has anybody tried the wings from the Paper Chef Cookbook? So when folks ask, like, what should I try first? I always say, try the wings because they're my favorite. You've got the book, page 13. And for anybody that doesn't have the book, this is a replacement part that we can order. So if you want these same recipes, you can get them, no problem. Just let me know. But this calls for 2 pounds of wings, and those can be frozen. But if they are frozen, make sure it wouldn't have to be defrosted. I think it would be best if you could defrost it and pat it dry, because remember, you're going to get that crispiness that you're looking for. And then it calls for baking powder. And actually, when we went to Top Golf today, and we in this big place, we see people 2 days over that we're really good friends with. And so he was saying that in his air fryer that he likes to make wings too. And I said, oh, well, do you put anything other than oil and salt and pepper? He said, no. So baking powder. So this is important, not baking soda. Okay, remember, baking soda is more for cleaning and stuff like that. But the baking powder, that's going to give it that crispiness that we all love from wings. And since I'm doing low carb, this is it's not like flour that's gonna be the higher carb. So I love I'm using baking powder for different things. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to spritz it because you don't need a ton of oil if you are using oil. And I just want the baking powder and the salt and pepper to I want it to adhere to it. And then we're going to add a little salt. And then I'm choosing a couple of our seasonings. So our seasoning salt, I really love the flavor that the Paper Chef seasoning salt. And the subscription that Brenda was talking about earlier is called Taste Buds. And she said multiple times, she just always has trouble trying to figure out how to season her food. And so she was one of the first people I thought of when the taste buds come out. So give us a little plug. What are you enjoying about your, have you enjoyed the recipes that have come with it, Brenda?
I've done several of the recipes and I've used some of the different spices either for a lot for vegetables. I eat a lot of vegetables. But if I do chicken tenders or something like that, I'll sometimes sprinkle that on it too.
Yeah, that's great. And let me actually grab one so you guys can have a good idea. You can buy just a single round, or you can do, I think it's a 3 or 6 month subscription. So like this one was a pasta with vegetables, a salmon salad, onion burgers, and then just gives you the recipes of what you need. And then I think it comes with 3 spices each time. So what's nice is you can try out the different spices before you commit to buying, and it just gives you some ideas. And it's going to give you more than you would need for just that recipe. So you can do the recipe multiple times. And I think it even gives you some suggestions of what else you can do. Like say for the dill, it gives you the recipe there. And then it also gives you you could do dill carrots, dill dip, and then you could do like a compounded butter. So it gives you 3 additional recipes that you could do with that same seasoning. All right, so somebody had asked in a party that I did not too long ago, can you use aluminum foil in your air fryer? So it's not recommended because you've got that flat sheet of aluminum foil. It's not allowing the air to do exactly what it's called for. So let me show you something that I think I bought these on Amazon. These are parchment paper sheets that have little holes in it. Okay, so if you're like me and you're looking for quick and easy and not a lot of cleanup, that is definitely a good suggestion for that. So what I'm going to do is just get my chicken tenders here, and I did buy some, I think it was Sweet Baby Ray's buffalo seasoning. But I usually do that after the fact, so everybody can flavor it their own way, and then I'll do this one without it. Let me just check the time on this before. All right, air fry and for 9 minutes. So, all right, and that was based on the chicken tender recipe that is in the cookbook that has a little more, just a little more. So it has I think corn flakes that you could make that. But so basically it's going to take 9 minutes to make those chicken tenders. And I don't really have to do a thing other than rotate them halfway through. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about some of the things I do for desserts. We did mention the cake, the monkey bread, which can double as a breakfast or a dessert. Tammy mentioned those awesome air fried Oreos. I was going to do those today, but I just ran out of time scooting in here. So basically all you're going to do is you're going to take a refrigerated crescent roll. So typically they come in the 8 triangles. So keep the 2 triangles together so it's more of a rectangle. Or no, actually take it apart. Something else I'm thinking of. That's when I did cinnamon rolls the other day. Those were so good too. But then I've done it both ways where you can dunk the Oreo in a little bit of milk. And then I did it when I didn't dunk it, and Jonathan said he liked it a little bit more because it was a little softer, and it was just super easy to eat. So I dunked the Oreo, put it on the wide end, and then I flip it over and then tuck those outside corners in. So it's just kind of just an encased little Oreo. Put it in the air fryer, and I think 7 minutes was the perfect amount of time for that. Just like the sausage patties, I found that it's best to flip it halfway through rather than rotate the racks necessarily, because if you don't flip it over, it just seems like it's a little more gooey on the bottom. But boy, everybody that has had those has absolutely loved those. for breakfast the other day, Preston had asked he had asked the night before if we had cinnamon rolls. And I was like, no, we don't have the Pillsbury cinnamon rolls. So I was like, oh, but I do have crescent rolls. So what I did was melted about a half a stick of butter, cinnamon and sugar. And then again, I had some pecans that I chopped up. And then I just brushed the butter on the rectangular ones. I kept the two squares or two triangles together, sprinkled it with cinnamon and sugar, rolled it up, and then cut it into like little fives. And then I put it right in. So I had two of these little cast iron pans ready to go the next morning. And I think it probably took it's like 8 minutes or so. And one of the things that I love and I think is so clever about how great that is, especially for the bake feature, when I'm doing things like Pillsbury crescent rolls, I put it on the bake. It's usually set your time a little bit lower. So if it calls for like 10 to 12 minutes, I probably start at like 8 minutes and then add gradually as you need it. But by the time my big oven like preheats, my babies are ready to come out to the ice. So, same thing with cookies, like chocolate chip cookies or, sugar cookies, any of the things like that you just want quick and easy, you can do that. Now with the cookies, you're using the parchment paper or in the pan, because if not, they do tend to kind of ooze through the thing and you don't want to waste any cookies. So, all right, so I feel like I've given you guys a lot of information. Is anybody feeling overwhelmed, or are we all feeling like we need to go to the grocery store and buy all the things? Because I hope the latter, but I don't know. So tell me what you're thinking. Any questions? You have any questions or any other things that you've thought of that you've made that you want to share? I wish my friend Tanya was on here. I don't think she is. I don't think she is on, but I was hoping that she was on. She made bagels recently, so I'm going to hijack that recipe that she had, and it was definitely a lower calorie bagel option. So let's see. Ooh. Okay, can I go over the time for wings? Yes, absolutely, Blair. So Blair was actually one of my hosts. I think it was like last March when the air fryer just came out. So she was one of the first people around here to get one of those babies in her kitchen. So on page 13 is the wing recipe that I follow. So it's just some salt, pepper, a little splash of oil, and then that baking powder is the trick. 30 minutes to do the wing. So you do 15 minutes on the top and then flip them and do 15 minutes on the bottom. Now, if this does tell you to do like butter and hot sauce to sauce it, but I tell you, my family loves them just as crispy with really without any sauce. We just add our sauces after the. Okay. All right, anything else you can pop it in the chat or you can ask either way. This was helpful. Hope you guys were inspired.
Jamie, when you put the chicken in?
Let me fix my thing on. I can hear you very good. All right, try again, Debbie.
When you put the chicken in for the 9 minutes, it's already preset on what the temperature needs to be?
Great question. So when I chose air fry,
yeah,
it custom sets it to 400 degrees. Now with bake, if I do it when I roll it to bake, that gives me the option because when you do air fry, you just roll it and then push it and it starts. Okay. So when I do bake, you push it to and you roll it to the time you want. And then when you push it, you're just like when you're doing the air fry, you think, oh, this baby's going to start. What happens is on bake, it starts flashing the temperature so you can adjust the temperature. So on air fry, I guess the custom temperature is going to be the 400. And I'm same thing with the other ones. I think it does allow you to do it. Now there is also a little button over here that's custom. So you can push that and that will allow you to, and I'm pretty sure that's for the air fry if you wanted to make it a little higher or make it a little lower. Also, when you do the rotisserie, it gives you the option for it to rotate or not. So the first time you put either the skewers or the little basket in there, and I'll go grab that. I meant to do that. If it's not turning on its own, make sure you hit that rotate button because if you hit the rotate, there's like a little circle on the left-hand side that will show you. The way that you'd be able to figure that out is there's a little light button, so you can turn the light on to figure out if that's the one. Let me go grab the accessories real quick. I meant to grab those. All right, so what comes with the air fryer is this little basket. So I'll tell you some things that I think to do and what I've heard not to do. And then you've got this little rotisserie stick. So this is what you would do your like your whole chicken. So you could do the pork loin on. I've had a chicken before that was too big, that it's like it was just too big for it to fit in there and rotate. So I just plop that baby like on the lower rack, just on the rack, and I still did rotisserie because I knew it would do that circulating motion that I wanted. Now, if you've been at a party recently, you've heard me talk about my chicken experience. The first chicken experience was very, very funny because I didn't have these little spiky parts, and I just threw that chicken on the stick, and I couldn't figure out why he was flopping all over the place. And I was like, all right, this looks good, it tastes good, but this is ridiculous. There's no way I can show people how to do this. Well, I realized real quickly it was a user error, and you know, that was just totally my fault. The same thing with the cauliflower. You can kind of poke it there. This is the retrieving tool. So when you put it in there, there's one way in, one way out. So once the chicken comes out, I'll see if I can figure out which it is. But you poke it in, and then there's like a side that has like a, and it's like a U. That's what's going to go down there. But when you're ready to come out, this baby's hot. So this little retrieving tool, you're gonna like connect to it, and then like kind of whichever side has that U part, you're just gonna lift that up and then take it out. So that's very, very easy. So with this little basket, you can do things like, you know, French fries. I think vegetables would be good here. Chickpeas, if you like roasted chickpeas. I'll have to figure out the time. I think it was like 17 minutes or something, but I'll confirm the time on that. But what I have heard is tater tots end up being a tater log once they're in this basket. So I think they're going to be a little bit better just on your trays. And as you guys like discover things, let me know, because I want to pass it along, because I don't want anybody to be sad about what they're using. And then this was an accessory that just came out, and it's the skewers. So what you're going to do here is you're going to fill it up with your kebab ingredients, and I'm gonna put it right here, and it's got a similar stick like this that will go through the middle. Now, we love kebabs, but you know, a lot of times I do lazy kebabs, so I'll do the same ingredients and just put them right on those racks, okay? Because you spend all that time putting them on, taking it off, and then you can still get that same rotisserie cooking with this. I got real creative one of my parties, and I threw hot dogs on one rack, and then I put an ear of corn on the other, and they roasted all together, and it worked out just fine. It was like a gas station hot dog. It was real exciting when we had those. So, so that was good. I'm going to put that other in for a few more minutes. On this, and of course, you know, your temperatures are important. The thermometer does not lie, so let's just double check to make sure. So we're looking for 165 here. All right, so I think we've probably got about another 4 minutes for these two, because we're at like 155. Let those continue cooking, but yeah, I mean, 9 to 12 minutes is still not bad for homemade chicken tenders. So, all right, any other questions? Thank you guys for joining me. Just message me if you do. have any other questions or think of anything, or as you try stuff, please let me know. Like, so I'm going to give you a little heads up since you guys are in my workshop, or if you're watching the stream. So I'm going to be, every time you tag me in a recipe, so post it on your page, tag me that you're doing stuff. I'm going to start calculating some points and giving away some fun little things. So make sure you do that. Now, if you guys have the Paper Chefs quick cooker, which is our version of an Instant Pot, or any other type of Instant Pot, next Sunday at 5, I'm going to be doing a workshop. I'm sharing some tips and ideas on that, because I'm telling you, so many people have some type of pressure cooker and they're not using it, and you guys are missing out on some just amazing cooking that can happen in that, because you can throw all of your frozen foods right from the freezer when you get home from work and have dinner in no time. So you guys stay tuned. 5 o'clock, I'll have an invitation for that as well. But all right, if you don't have any other questions, I sure do appreciate y'all joining me today.
Can I ask
Thank you, Jamie.
real quick, one other thing real quick? Have you done shrimp in it? Have you done shrimp at all in the air fryer?
I haven't. It's just Preston and I that like seafood.
Okay.
So we haven't, but you know what I have done? I have done frozen salmon. I've done some frozen salmon just to throw like for lunch. But there is a coconut shrimp recipe in here.
All that.
Usually when I do seafood, I just eat it out because I'm already short order cook. Oh, okay. Keely has done the coconut shrimp and said it's amazing. So that's good. I'm already a short order cook for at least one of the people in my family. I'm not cooking 3 meals, you know, even if I'm the one that's going to benefit. But yeah, this looks good, and it looks like about 8 minutes is all it's going to take to do the coconut shrimp in this. So that sounds good. Oh, she cooked it a little bit longer. Yeah, I prefer stuff a little bit on the crispier side too. So okay. All right, anything else? All right, keep those questions coming, and you guys use it. And listen, troubleshoot. Like if you pull something, pull it out, you're ready to use it, not really sure what to do, call me. Like call me, text me, send smoke signals. I don't want it to stop you. I just want you to use it and absolutely fall in love with it. And for any of your friends that still don't have one, keep in mind through Sunday, the 31st, we still have 25% off of the air fryer for this month. And that's the January special. So, one of my girlfriends, she's like, I want one. And she was going to get it on my party with a discount. And she ended up hosting a party, didn't do anything on Facebook other than post her link 2 or 3 different times. She texted it. You guys, she had a $900 party. So she got her air fry completely free, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. So still time to do that without a lot of fuss. So, all right, well, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you a little later.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome. Bye.